Well, welcome back, everybody out there. Thank you so much for being with us. This is Legal Talk, and I am your host, John Mitchell. We are very happy to have with us today Robin Grain, who is a divorce mediator, and we really appreciate her taking the time and effort to be with us. And so, Robin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we were chatting a little bit about retirement and pension plans and such. So that brings up the very first question that we have for today. How are retirement and pension plans affected in the context of a divorce if it's involving a business owner or maybe even not involving a business owner? How does that work?
Yeah, really there's no difference. Most places in the United States, if not all, you can be pretty sure that the go-to for the courts if you're getting divorced is 50-50 on all retirement acquired during the marriage. Now, there are 9 states where that's absolute, the community property states. Most states, it's not 50-50 absolute, but it kind of feels like it is because it's not on such a common basis. Whether you're a small business owner or the spouse of a small business owner, or both spouses own a small business together, it doesn't matter. It's just all about you have retirement or not. I think that's that's pretty much how that works. Retirement is retirement is retirement, essentially.
Got it, got it. So no, despite the misconceptions that might be out there, I mean, it's not a big difference then. So what considerations might there be as far as dividing up retirement assets that might be tied into a business?
Well, I'll tell you one that I've seen a few times with my small business owner spouses, both when I was a litigation attorney and as a mediator. And that is that, when you go through a divorce, it kind of, I mean, depending on the type of person you are, it can kind of feel like your financial life is slipping away. It can be very traumatic for people. And with a small business owner, if they feel like maybe the business is teeter-tottering a little, which is oftentimes when the marriage goes on the skids is the same time when the business does. It's very common. And if they're working really, really hard to save the business, right, they're losing their marriage. Maybe they're having trouble with their kids, but they definitely don't want to lose their business. It's what they have control over. I've had to really kind of like hog tie people to not give away all of the retirement assets that they've acquired to the other spouse so that the other spouse doesn't touch any of the business, usually in the form of the value of the business, not actually taking a piece of the action of the business, but a value of the business. So I like to, you know, part of the strategy of divorce is so that everybody, I mean, if you're settling a divorce like I do, so that everybody has a good launching position when you're actually divorced. And if you've blown 100% of basically your savings, your nest egg for the future, your retirement assets, so that you can keep the business, which might not be doing that well, I'm going to say something and kind of nudge you to reconsider that. Not everybody does that. A lot of mediators are just happy if they can get your case settled. They're not going to help you look down the road. But I think that's important because desperate people do desperate things, and giving up all of your retirement is desperate. And I do see that. So that's a thing. Uh, Another really important aspect of retirement, and this is whether you own a small business or not, is it needs to be tax effective. For example, if one person is keeping a pile of 401k or IRA or what have you, and the other person's keeping, for example, equity in real estate, and most people don't have capital gains attached to their houses. It takes a lot to end up paying capital gains taxes. So most people, at least most people that I deal with, and I live in a pretty wealthy area, are selling their house with low taxes on the gain, on the profit, essentially. Uh, But retirement has taxes piggyback to it. So that's something you really want to factor for when you're dividing and conquering, so to speak, in a divorce. Yeah, it's important.
Right, right. Very important. Okay, that is great information, and we appreciate your perspective on that. And so I'd like to dig in a little bit. Have you, if you would, please put on your CDFA hat and answer this next question for us, because it's something that I've wondered about, even me personally, a couple of times. Let's say there's a divorce going on, there's retirement plans, etc. How would a divorce financial analyst, how would you approach valuing those retirement plans and then equitably dividing those up amongst the parties?
It seems like it would be hard, but it's really not that difficult if you have what I call a pile of money. That's what I call it. 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, those types of TSPs, those types of retirement assets. The value is what it is. You can see it. Now, if you're talking about a pension, which most small business people don't have, sometimes their spouses do. I mean, then now you can get into some pretty fancy calculations called a present value calculation. But with small business people, if they have any retirement, and a lot don't, because all the money that regular folks put into retirement, lots of small business people are putting into the business. So a lot of the small business people I deal with, they may have a nice income, but it's turning around. That money's turning around. But you always have to factor for taxes and know that I guess some people look at their small business retirement as if it's a part of the business. But in a divorce, it's not really looked at like that. It's looked as if you were working for Corporation X and that was your retirement plan at the company. That's important to note also. I think I'm stumbling a little because most of my small business clients don't have retirement. They just don't. So I think a lot of us in mediation and law that deal with small business people, we don't deal with this a lot. That's kind of a problem, is that when small business people get divorced, sometimes there's not a cushion there, and that's real hard.
Well, look, I mean, being a business owner myself, I know this firsthand. A lot, yeah, a lot of times,
It's hard.
you're in the position that there's not that big separate pile of money like you're talking about. I mean, knock on wood, and hopefully, there is a big pile of money. But in my experience, I've seen the day when every spare penny has just been, put in the business just to keep, keep it going. Yeah.
It is. And you might agree that that's the way to do it when you're getting along. But I've seen many cases, particularly more in my litigation days and my mediation days, where as soon as the divorce is in the air, the non-business owner spouse says, I thought all that money you were putting in the business was stupid. I never said that before.
Right,
so
right.
We need to talk about people that do funny things on their taxes one time and how that plays into a divorce. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, we could spend a whole nother hour episode on all that, right? Yeah, I got stories, stories up the sleeve to tell about that. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, well, look, Robin, it's it has been a pleasure as always having you with us. We really appreciate you taking the time, making the effort. Your expertise is invaluable, and I'm sure everybody out there appreciates it just as much as I do. So I wanted to one more time extend thanks for being here with us on the show. And just tell us, if you would, please, just to wrap things up a bit, how could people go ahead and go about finding you if they want to do so?
Okay. Well, I'm easy to find. You can type in Divorce Mediation Virginia. I should pop up for you. But you're also welcome to call me. 571-220-1998. I will get back to you. I don't always pick up right away, but I will get back to you. You can also go on my website, Brain with an E, mediation, brainmediation.com. And you can fill out a contact form there and I'll get right back with you, or you can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation also on the website. Thank you.
Well, that is wonderful, Robin. Thanks again for being with us. Appreciate everybody out there joining us out there in the audience as well. Hope this has been informative. Hope it's been helpful. And we also hope that you guys will join us next time on Legal Talk. So thanks for being with us, and we will see you next time.